So how are you going to add more recessive traits to your projects or your double recessive projects? I think that's an interesting question because a lot of people aren't able to do it effectively. And so 80% of all breeders have a stall at the end of their project. This video will cover how you can prevent that stall and continue your projects moving forward like you want them to. Hey guys, it's Paul with Spheric Reptiles, and I thank you so much for tuning in today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This content covers everything that you would hopefully need to not only care for your ball python, but also breed it and produce hatchlings. And then if you're already a subscriber and you're watching the videos weekly, I just thank you. And I hope that this information continues to be helpful to you because that's the whole purpose of the channel. It's for no other reason but to help you be successful. And it also catalogs for free our journey as we go so that I don't have to use my own memory storage. I think that makes sense. That's why I always tell people to start their own YouTube channel or Instagram or something. Record the stuff for free because it's out there, right? So they're making money off of it, so you should at least store it for free. But anyway, this video will cover how to add recessive genes to your existing ball python project so that you don't stall. So I came up with this after talking with a lot of breeders that are in the industry, but 80% of all breeders end up stalling on their projects by year 5. And I mean, that seems like it shouldn't be that way, but also 80% of all businesses fail within the first year and they continue to fail at a clip of 80% thereafter. So the ones that are successful, they have a very good plan. So I'm hoping that this video will cover a plan that'll help keep you at least motivated so that when you're spending your money and you're spending your time, that you get something from it, right? So in thinking about this, I actually talked to Will Washington this week with Flawless Exotic Creations, and we were talking about how most people don't really invest in their breeding projects after the baseline, right? So 1 or 2 years, and then they're like, hey, I got all the animals I need, and they just quit investing, but they still want to get paid to sell these snakes, or they want to produce something that they like. So either one, you need some gratification, some immediate gratification. And if you stop investing into your projects, I'm not talking about a bunch of money, but just stop adding genes in, then what can you expect? If everyone else is adding them in and then you're trying to get in this market, then that's why we have so many ball pythons sitting on the shelves right now, because when people go to a reptile expo or they look online, the first thing they look for is the wow factor. Wow, that's an incredible snake. Wow, I want that snake. Oh, I've never seen that before. And so for the majority of pet owners, for ball pythons, that's what drives them. Either they just want a snake or they want something uniquely different. So in this video, I'm going to talk about, again, 2 things. How to add those recessive genes to your existing ball python project without hitting the reset button. That's important because you don't want to spend more money if you already got your breeder females already. You don't need to reinvest in a whole new slew of, or a whole new crop of breeder females. And then secondly, how to create those pathways, yes, pathways that will lead you down the journeys each year after year after year. And then after you do that for about 3 years, you don't really need to do it anymore unless you need to add more genes to your project. First thing I want to talk about is 2 different types of breeders. You got the breeder who basically says, in the beginning, I'm going to spend X amount of dollars, I'm going to buy everything I need, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to add anything else, and this breeder produces visuals. Immediate gratification is what this breeder gets, because when they show up at the show, they got animals that people want, and they just buy them. And so this breeder thinks that after that first year, that second year, maybe even that 3rd year, that people will continue to buy these same animals with these same genes at the same clip, which might be true. But if you've looked at the prices for ball pythons, is this breeder going to make the same amount of money that he made in year 1, year 2, and year 3? Probably not, because the prices are going down, because the demand is going down as well, while the supply stays the same. I think everybody understands the supply and demand curve. Now, 2, we have the other breeder who says, you know, I'm going to invest in my animals. I'm going to set a plan with different pathways that leads to success. Now, for this breeder, what they do is they hyper focus on what they want to do. So they are going to say, maybe get a double recessive project, and they're going to add incomplete dominance to it, And each year after year after year, they're going to continue to add a different recessive to that existing project so that their project continues to move forward. For a lot of people, I think this is where the confusion part comes in, because they feel like once they get all of these double head, triple head, quad heads, that they need to breed them all together. No, you can be strategic in this, and this is what I'm really going to share. First, pathways. And for the pathway, what I'll be using in this example for the video is our TSK Axanthic Hypo Morpheus, which you see on the screen. He's a great animal. He is a visual, double visual. That's the same thing, right? He's a double visual example of what I want to do with this project. So the base of the project is TSK Axanthic. Now, all the other recessive traits that I add onto it are just icing on the cake. I already got the cake. Now, I'm not going to say you need to eat the cake anime, but if you want to eat the cake, make sure that it's something that you want to eat. So that leads us to the first pathway. So in the first pathway, what I've done, it took Morpheus and I bred him to, this year, I bred him to Lucy, which is our Pastel Huffman, and also bred him to Pink, which is our Cinnamon Phantom Yellow Belly Ball Python. So that you can see on the screen that they are definitely going through ovulation right now. It took 3 locks and now they're at where they are. That's the whole benefit of the ultrasound, but you don't really need that. You can pretty much pair up your ball pythons at the same time every year because you have a constant temperature, right? But either way, what I'm doing is I will be producing hets. Now, as you're looking here, I'm going to pull out some animals that I already produced from, and I've shown you all these before, but I'm just going to show them to you again. And these are our hatchlings from our Acid Orange Dream Yellow Belly. So these are our hets. So we have 1 male and we have 2 females. This is an Acid Orange Dream Yellow Belly. This is an Acid Orange Dream, and he's an Acid Orange Dream as well. I'll move his hide back. They've all been genetic tested, but they are all double head for TSK and Hypo. So that's one of the projects that we have that's moving forward. And so this is all in pathway 1. So pathway 1 is when you basically have your first pairings and you produce your first double hets. And that's important because now as these grow up, I have the option, keep your options open, I have the option to actually produce visuals. And now I'm going to pull out some more squirmy babies. So, all right, these are our bamboo Enchi Calico that was bred to our TSK Hypo. And so you can see the differences that we have here. So I got a bamboo Enchi Calico that's double head for TSK Hypo. I have a bamboo Enchi, I'm sorry, that's double head for TSK and Hypo. And then I have a pastel Enchi that's double head for TSK and Hypo. So if we look at the other animals that we have, so I got those other 2 females that are in ovulation, the Pastel Huffman, and I also have the Cinnamon Yellow Belly Phantom. So that is the base for our pathway 1. So we're basically going to keep 4 males and we're going to keep, 8 females, right? So, and that's going to be our entire breeding project for there. So if you wanted to stop there, you could definitely stop there. That's what a lot of breeders do, is they do those first pairings, they get those hets, and then they just try to crank out the visuals, which I'm not saying don't crank out the visuals, but here's another option. And so as I put these, I'm going to put these up. They just immediately started squirming.
Everybody's going visiting.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely visiting. Yeah, it's crazy. They just can't help it.
I noticed.
Like, I've been hearing you the whole time. Let me see. Oh, that's how you look. Man, it's so crazy. They that's what they do. They visit. That's how you look. That's how you look. Oh, that was you making all that fart noise last night? Yeah, that's me. That's me. I'm making all the fart noises. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so I'm putting these up. And I always talk to the snake. So if you think I'm crazy, yes, I am crazy. But now let's get into pathway number 2. So now we got our hets. So I got basically offsprings or hatchlings from 4 different females. And so that's our first pathway. Now, at any point that I add to it, this is the key. What do you add? How do you add? So if you're looking at the screen right now, you see our spot nose TSK Axanthic, that's head for clown. Beautiful animal. Her name is Taylor Swift. So I guess we could call her a Swiftie. That's just so dumb to me, but I like the name. So her name's Taylor Swift because that's what we do. Most of our females that we have, we got a Cardi B, we got a Gaga, we got a Chroma, we got a Pink, a Doja Cat. So we tend to name all of our breeder females after singers, right, or entertainers because it's easy for us to remember. And then we got the different stuff like the horror movies, the candy bars, the tennis shoes, and stuff like that for our hatchlings. So that way we know. But look, when I am thinking about adding to the pathway number 2, right? So this is key and this is pivotal for your growth. So I'm going to take that same male, Morpheus, the TSK Axanthic Hypo, and breed him to Taylor Swift, who is a TSK Axanthic head clown. That will give me guaranteed, hopefully, spot nose TSKs or somewhere, but I'm going to get all visual so I get that immediate gratification. They will be 100% head for hypo, and then I'll have to genetic test for the head clown. So it's a win-win situation right there, right? And this is how you add to your pathway. So she's going to have her clutch and produce hatchlings, right? Once she gets old enough. Now, right now, she's only 400 grams, so I have about 1.5 years for this to happen. But in the meantime, in between time, I also have a double head Desert Ghost and Hypo that I'm breeding to him as well. And so we'll end up with hopefully some quad heads there. And that is the key. So that'll make me a pathway number 2 and a pathway number 3. Now I'll have to genetic test for the Desert Ghost in that other case because she's head Desert Ghost. But I know that she's going to be 100% head for TSK Axanthic, 100% head for Hypo. And then if I just have to do that one test for Desert Ghost in that one case, and I have to do the one test for head clown in the other, I think that's a win. And I know you see this. I know you see it. So eventually what I can do is I can take the offspring from all of these animals to help to create further progression in our breeding project. So I could have TSK Axanthic, Hypo, Desert Ghost, and what was the other one? Clown. So that'll give us a quad head, but the whole time you want to be producing some visuals because inevitably you still want to move snakes. Like you just don't want to breed snakes and have a ton of snakes that you have as hatchlings. And you want some of these to go to people that would enjoy them as well. But this and this is pretty much it. So you got your pathway number 1, you got your pathway number 2, and maybe your pathway number 3. Now you could do this in year 1, year 2, and year 3, or you could do it all in the same year. But again, remember, your male can only go to so many females. And so I would suggest to stagger those years. So in the first year, take those incomplete dominant genes, add them in with that TSK and Hypo to make those hets, because that will establish your foundation and your baseline for your incomplete dominant genes. And once you get those incomplete dominant genes in there that you really like, then now you can start adding on the recessive. So in the first case, when I took Taylor Swift and I added her to Morpheus, or Morpheus added to Taylor Swift, which would be a weird combination if you think about the movie, Morpheus, the character, and Taylor Swift. But anyway, so that's the TSK Axanthic Hypo Clown. And then also, if I think about Cruella, then that would be our TSK Axanthic Hypo Desert Ghost. And then we could breed all of those back in. So you see how this is going to continue to move us forward. And at any point, I could always take one of these visual examples. Once we start pairing up our holdbacks to produce other animals, then we could also add in another recessive gene at that point. I covered a lot, but to just recap everything, have fun. And I don't want you to be part of the 80%. I want you to be part of the 20% that are very successful. But have fun. And then so what we want to do is we don't want to break the bank. We don't want to stall or hit the reset button, but I would love for you to be able to add recessive genes in this way because it gives you immediate feedback. And so every year you're doing a new pairing and then you get your other animals that your base is out of the way. So each year is a different pathway for you to focus. And then by the 1 year or 2 years it takes for those other animals to grow up, hopefully you have your third pathway and your project never dies. It continues to move forward and you continue to make animals. Some of them will end up being visuals and then you'll have heads from there. And then you just like the big breeders. And that's what the big breeders do when they're moving their projects forward. They just don't shoot the gun at everything. You'll notice that they build incrementally over time, year after year after year. And that's the plan for sustainable growth. So, man, I hope this information proves helpful to you. I want you to be really successful in this because it's extremely fun. I know it takes a lot of time. Have fun with this. Enjoy that time that you spend with your reptiles. And definitely, hug your family. Tell them how much you love them while you have them. Thank you.